Welcome to the Success with Jewelry podcast, where we invite you inside our conversations about business success and marketing for jewelry designers and entrepreneurs.
We're Liz and Laryssa, jewelry marketing experts with a combined 16 years of experience in jewelry marketing and proven track records in helping jewelry brands meet their goals. When you listen to or watch this podcast, you get an intimate and exclusive peek behind the curtain of all the things you wish you could know about earning success in this industry.
Welcome to episode 47. In this episode, Liz and I are going to help you either establish or level up your branding. So we'll be talking about, is your brand strong enough? Should you establish a new brand or refresh your existing brand? If you are interested in exploring brand development further, what should you prepare? What research should you be doing? And we also want to tell you about our insider community. When you join, you'll have access to extended episodes full of tips that you can start implementing today and further resources about each topic we discuss. In the extended version of this episode, we share, what do you do next? How much is it going to cost? If you want to get access to this exclusive content, as well as direct access to me and Liz, sign up by visiting successwithjewelry.com. Hey, Liz, let's get into it.
I can't believe we're on episode 47. I feel like we need to do something special for 50.
Yeah, we should have a party.
Yeah. I don't know. Something fun. Maybe we'll have champagne. Who knows?
Okay, I love it. Live drinking at here at like 8:45 in the morning.
Laryssa gets up early. I remember one time, and it stuck in my head. I wonder if it's stuck in anybody else's head, but you said you have to just do it. Like if you want to create a strong brand and like have like success in your business, you need to just figure out time to do it. And Laryssa gets up at like 6 a.m. and just starts working. And I always think,
Oh no. I sound like a psycho.
no, I mean, it's true. I mean, it's so hard to get a business off the ground. It's so hard to define a brand and, make sure it's strong, make sure it's successful. And I know the people listening are like, I already do a million things, Liz and Laryssa, like, please don't like keep pushing me, but checking in with your marketing and doing your marketing is something that, is just part of it.
Yeah, it's so much like, what's a good metaphor? It's like, I think people spend too much time in their heads and questioning everything and not enough time doing things. And that way it's like, I don't know, like yoga or something. Like you have to like keep moving. You have to like flow. You can't sit there and like question everything that you're doing. I don't know.
That's true. It's so hard to do in your own little, like my marketing meetings are with myself. Like when you're trying to figure it out all on your own, it's tough. So we hope that we're here to help you, and you can always in our forum, when you visit successwithjewelry.com, if you've signed up for the community, always feel free to ask us questions or even leave thoughts, because it is hard to do alone.
Totally. Yeah, we get it.
You get it. I get it. I've been having my own marketing meetings about my brand, and I'm like, I need to tweak it. We need to tweak this. And it's hard to do yourself. So anyway, let's get into this topic.
Yeah. So we talked about branding in the last episode. We shared some questions to ask, and it's like, okay, what do you do next if you figured out like the intellectual part of your brand?
Also, if you listened to last week's episode and from there you kind of followed some of the advice we gave and really worked on or defined your brand, or maybe even just thought about it, congratulations. That's awesome.
That's important work, I like that.
Yeah, it's important work. So good for you. But once you've defined your brand, once you feel really good about it, then you want to make sure everything's in alignment. And this is, I think, the most important thing to consider in this day and age, as people are getting inundated with so much marketing and being sold to all of the time, is making sure that what you're trying to say and your brand is coming through in every single platform and in really strong alignment. So your website, your social media, your email marketing, your packaging, your line sheet, everything wants to feel like it's coming from the same place.
Definitely. And I think that's more important these days, because we're always like experimenting with new platforms or like signing up for a new thing like Threads, and then things get forgotten and you're just one person, managing all these touch points. So it's important to like revisit all that all the time. Not all the time, but regularly.
Regularly, and be consistent across all of your platforms. So uh, Threads obviously like kind of like didn't go the direction I think that they were hoping it to go. And it's had like a 70% drop off from like daily users. So, I don't think it's a platform we need to worry about anymore. But as we talked about in the episode about it, is you want to make sure that you have a clear strategy of what you're trying to say there before you dive in. And that's the same with all of your platforms. And it could be good to kind of take a look at them. Like, where am I posting? And what is the goal of each? And what am I trying to say there? And how does that circle back to my key messaging?
And chop out anything that doesn't serve you anymore.
Yes, take it off.
Get rid of it.
I still believe that we just need a strong website and Instagram and email marketing. And if you get those things really working well together, then you can add on another thing. But I think those are like the three most important components. Of course, that depends on your audience and it depends on who you're talking to and a lot of other factors. But for the most part, when I'm talking to jewelry designers, that's what I recommend.
A lot of pushback that I get is like, I think what you just said, Liz, it sounds so boring that like people are like, no, but there must be like something else, right? Like you're gatekeeping, right? And then it's like, but Laryssa, what about this other thing? And what about this other thing? And I'm like, nope, you didn't master these things yet. We can't look at anything else.
I agree. It's hard when you have other like people coming out saying like Pinterest is getting hot right now. You got to be thinking about Pinterest. Like that type of energy, or like all of the energy towards Threads, or like all of the energy and buzz about TikTok. It's like hard to ignore those things because it does feel sometimes like a magic option. Like people saying like TikTok engagement is strong. Like you're going to get engagement there that you don't get on Instagram. But if your audience isn't there, or if you're not doing Instagram email marketing and your website really well, it's not worth your time.
Mm-hmm. We're not hiding anything, we promise.
We're not hiding anything. Anyway, that was a total segue. So after you've defined your brand, you also like, this is really important, is gathering and analyzing data. I think reporting monthly is such a good habit to get into, even if you're not really like sitting with it and like looking at the numbers. Simply putting them into your report monthly will give you so much to look at and analyze at the end of the year.
Definitely. And for related to branding, like some things you'd want to measure would be like traffic to your website. Are more people like finding your website, spending more time on it? Those are really important for brand awareness.
And then give it time. I mean, defining your brand and moving forward with that, what you've decided is your key messaging, what you're trying to say, your new visuals, all of that, it takes time. You want to give it like several months to a year at really like leaning into that. And then you can analyze it and maybe come back and make tweaks, but you want to give it time.
When working with clients, I want to say 6 months, but like, I wish like it's really more like a year. Like, I mean, maybe if we really like hit a chord somewhere, we'll be 6 months, but like, I don't like saying it because people don't like hearing it.
No, that's why I'm so gentle. I'm like, yeah, like 3 to 6 months is what I often say. But knowing, like, if I were being really honest, it does take a year to see what's working. I mean, I could be more generous, 9 months to a year to start seeing the effects of taking a new approach. And I've been managing several Instagram accounts for years, and it really, after a year, starts to hit its stride and you see what's working and you see what tweaks you need to make. It sounds like a long time. I know it's a huge investment for designers, but that's what it takes.
Yep, it is. We don't got no magic wand here.
There's no magic wand. I mean, even for big brands, it takes a long time to figure out if something's working and giving it time to resonate with the audience. So I said this on the extended version. I'm just going to say it here real quick. To have a legacy brand, to like have a really strong brand, it takes decades. I mean, look at Tiffany & Co., look at Cartier, hundreds of years. So just put that out there. Like nothing happens overnight.
And that honestly shouldn't scare you, because if you want to have a real business, I'm assuming you want to have it for a long time too. And so you have to like just expect that growth, that evolution is going to take as long as you want to have the business.
Yes. I wonder what you would answer. This is a total segue. We're like going off script here, but I wonder how you would answer this question, Laryssa. A designer who is just starting out asked me, how much time do I put in before I decide this isn't working?
Oh,
And my response was 3 years.
that's an interesting question. I don't know if there is an amount of time I can put on it, because it depends what your circumstances are. I mean, financially, patience wise, like if you are putting your life savings into something and expecting to like make that back, like an investment right away or something, and you're like, well, when is this going to turn back around? I would be very afraid to put any amount of time on that.
That's true. I think the situation I'm imagining it to be is like having a job that's paying the bills and working as much as you can on your business to get it off the ground, in terms of like putting out consistent marketing, like, making sure your website's up to date, like adding new product lines and things like that. And moving forward, when do you start realizing that it's, maybe it's just the wrong product and the wrong audience or the wrong thing, and like you fully need to scrap it? I don't know. This is not where
Yeah. I mean, assuming that you have the ability to sit with it this long and to work on it, I would probably give it 5 years.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. It takes a long time to grow a business. It takes a really long time to grow a business.
Mhm.
I've been growing my business for 7 years, and you've been doing yours for a long time too.
Same. I think 7 years also. And every year, I'm like, oh, I feel like now I'm hitting my stride. Like it changes all the time. You kind of reach new levels that maybe you didn't even imagine were possible, or it's a constant evolution every day. Every day.
Every day. And sometimes I just want to like, throw it away and start over. But and then I have a win and I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to
Yeah.
like pivot this direction or whatever. But
And then you remember what it's like to start from scratch, and you're like,
or I remember what it's like to work for someone.
Yeah, that too.
I did not love. Anyway, okay, let's get back on topic.
Yeah. So how do you know if your brand is like good, like we're good, or it's time for a refresh, or just like a new brand, or even establish a brand you never even had before?
Sometimes you feel it in your gut and you know that you need to tweak it or change something. Sometimes you're trying to reach a new audience. I love the example of Swarovski. They did a huge brand refresh. I think it was in 2021, where, originally Swarovski was kind of, you think about it as like an older clientele, like pretty traditional, but they did this like huge redesign, rebrand, where they're now like clearly trying to reach a younger audience, and their imagery is super funky. Their product line is super fun. And I love looking at that, because even a brand that's been around for a really long time, sometimes it's like, we're not reaching the right audience. We need to do something drastic to change. And so we're not necessarily suggesting you have to think about it in that big of a pivot, but I love that example, because that's a reason that you might want to switch things up, is if you aren't reaching the client that you're trying to reach.
Totally. I think there's a lot of questions you can like reflect on. We can say some of them. So one, like, is there consistency or inconsistency? Do you feel like there could be more consistency? If you constantly feel like you're making marketing decisions or brand related decisions by the seat of your pants, you're just like free flowing, then yeah, it's time. If you are on your own, but you're thinking about bringing on anyone, whether it's a contractor or part-time person, intern, whatever, it's good to have something standardized to share that, so it's not in your head. Also, if you feel like you've like reached a positive stride in your business where before you were always figuring things out, being scrappy, but now you've like reached a new level, it's a good time to reassess to see if your brand is like matching that level that you've reached. Um, as Liz mentioned, if you're trying to align with new customers or just get seen or found by new customers, then that's also a good time. I'll let you share some too.
Yeah, and if you like find like a new clarity on your mission or your vision, or you like have new inspiration, or you're going a different direction with a new collection, all of those are reasons to consider it too. Um, yeah, or if you're getting serious about investing in your business, not only with money, but with commitment and consistency, it could be time to look at a refresh. So those are all things that you might want to consider.
Mhm.
And you also want to not only ask yourself those questions, but after you've decided to either do a refresh or like try to make your brand feel stronger, you want to prepare and research. So asking your customers what they love about your brand, that's always super helpful. Tapping into what you love about other brands. I think that this is such an important thing to be doing, is like, what brands do you love? What brands resonate with you and why?
Yeah, and shifting, I think most people, if you're not a marketer, you just like shop, you see brands, you look at ads, you look at whatever, but you're not thinking critically about them. They kind of just like wash over you. And so you don't have any reflective thoughts. And I would say if you can like flip a switch in your brain to take a step and say, oh, I like this, but why? Like, oh, okay. And be more observant of like your own reactions. Just that can help you a lot.
So helpful. Like, sign up for email lists of your favorite brands. Like, think about like why you opened the email, why you clicked on the thing, why you liked the post. Reflecting on that is, I find, to be super helpful. But also another thing that's huge is creating a mood board, which sounds kind of silly, but even visually, like just choosing images that feel reflective of your brand or reflective of the direction you want to go, I think can provide a lot of clarity, especially if you're a visual person.
Mhm. Yeah. And also kind of start reaching out to people who do this and see what they think or how much it will cost or what their process is like, or maybe even get some like initial consultations that can help you understand like what's possible. So we want to know, are you working on your brand? Again, in our bonus episode, we share what to do next and also how much you can expect to pay for something like this. So let us know. Visit successwithjewelry.com to sign up for the extended episode as well as exclusive content. Thanks so much for listening.